Good evening and welcome. Tonight we're talking about Gavin Newsom, the current governor of California. Thinks he can parlay running a state with more problems than people into the presidency. Under his watch, the Golden State has become the poster child for everything wrong with this country. Out of control homelessness, rampant crime, businesses fleeing like rats from a sinking ship. This is a man who loves the finer things in life, lecturing you about climate change from his private jet while you can't afford to fill up your tank because of his gas taxes. We're going to break down Newsom's record piece by painful piece. Because if you think things are bad now, just wait until he gets his hands on the whole country. Let's talk about the economy, shall we? California, under Gavin Newsom, has become an economic death spiral. Businesses are packing up and leaving faster than you can say Silicon Valley. Remember those corporate headquarters I mentioned? Tesla, Oracle, they're not alone. And who can blame them? You try running a business when you're getting squeezed for every last penny by Newsom and his cronies. It's no wonder people are fleeing California in droves. They're looking for opportunity, for freedom, for a place where they can actually afford to live. But Newsom doesn't care. He's too busy catering to the radical left, pushing his woke agenda, while the middle class gets crushed under the weight of his policies. Now, let's talk about the humanitarian crisis unfolding on the streets of California. Homelessness. It's everywhere you look in California. Tents lining the streets, people sleeping in doorways, open drug use. Newsom talks a big game about compassion, but his policies have done nothing but make the problem worse. He throws billions of taxpayer dollars at the problem, but the money seems to disappear into some black hole of bureaucracy and incompetence. The reality is, Newsom's policies have made it easier to live on the streets than to get a job and get back on your feet. Let's be clear, California, under Gavin Newsom, has become more dangerous. Crime is out of control, and it's not hard to see why. Newsom's soft-on-crime policies have emboldened criminals and made our communities less safe. He's more interested in protecting criminals than he is in protecting law-abiding citizens. He's reduced penalties for crimes, turned a blind eye to open-air drug markets, and even halted the death penalty. It's like he's actively trying to make life easier for criminals and harder for everyone else. And the victims, they're forgotten, ignored by the media, abandoned by the politicians. Remember the COVID pandemic? We all made sacrifices. We stayed home, we wore masks, we missed out on important life events. But not Gavin Newsom. While he was locking down the state, shutting down businesses, and forcing kids to stay home from school, he was out partying with his wealthy donors at the French Laundry, one of the most expensive restaurants in the world. The hypocrisy was astounding. He lectured us about the importance of social distancing while he was dining on $300 a plate meals. The people of California saw right through him. Let's talk about basic competence, something Gavin Newsom seems to be allergic to. Under his watch, California's infrastructure is crumbling. We've got rolling blackouts, water shortages, wildfires raging out of control. He's so obsessed with his radical green agenda that he's driven the state's energy grid into the ground. Years of mismanagement and neglect have turned our forests into tinderboxes, and Newsom has done nothing to address the problem. In fact, he's made it worse with his environmental extremism. Remember the recall election? Millions of Californians signed on the dotted line because they'd had enough. They were tired of the lockdowns, tired of the hypocrisy, tired of the incompetence. They wanted their state back. And what did Newsom do? He called the recall a power grab and a Republican coup. He demonized anyone who dared to question his leadership. Californians are fed up with his policies, fed up with his attitude, and fed up with his leadership. And now this man, this embodiment of failure, wants to be president of the United States. He thinks he can take his brand of chaos and incompetence national. Let me be clear, Gavin Newsom is a danger to this country. His policies are radical, his leadership is disastrous, and his judgment is severely lacking. He's already destroyed one state. Don't let him destroy the rest of the country.